Well, ladies and gentlemen, it would appear as if Xi Jinping, the leader of China, the CCP, has just come crawling to the negotiating table. That's right. After months of posturing, threats, and economic self-harm, Xi Jinping is now begging for a face-to-face meeting with President Trump in the hopes of putting an end to the most brutal and one-sided trade war in modern history. And now, let's be very clear about something. This isn't a peace summit between equals. No, this is pretty much a surrender negotiation. And if you want to understand just how badly things are going for China right now, well, let's just walk through the entire situation together. You see, just last week, China issued a very public, very desperate threat to the entire world, saying that if any country chose to negotiate with the United States, they'd be burning a bridge with China. Well, that threat lasted just about 5 minutes, because as of yesterday afternoon, over 75 countries are actively working on new trade deals with President Trump, including two of China's closest so-called allies, India and Vietnam. Now, folks, it's honestly hard to put to words just how massive it is that India chose the United States over China. Trump's historic new trade deal with India marks an absolutely tectonic shift in global power. We're talking about redirecting massive supply chains away from China and towards the United States. In fact, just yesterday afternoon, Vice President Vance gave a speech in India to commemorate the deal. But before we take a look at that, I want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this.
Now, like you, we want to appreciate our history, our culture, our religion. We want to do commerce and strike good deals with our friends. We want to found our vision of the future upon the proud recognition of our heritage rather than self-loathing and fear. I work for a president who has long understood all of this, whether through fighting those who seek to erase American history or in support of fair trade deals abroad. He has been consistent on these issues for decades. And as a result, under the Trump administration, America now has a government that has learned from the mistakes of the past. It's why President Trump cares so deeply about protecting the manufacturing economy that is the lifeblood of American prosperity and making sure America's workers have opportunities for good jobs. As we saw earlier this month, he will go to extraordinary lengths to protect and expand those opportunities for all Americans. And so today I come here with a simple message. Our administration seeks trade partners on the basis of fairness and of shared national interests. We want to build relationships with our foreign partners who respect their workers, who don't suppress their wages to boost exports, but respect the value of their labor. We want partners that are committed to working with America to build things, not just allowing themselves to become a conduit for transshipping others' goods.
So folks, there was J.D. Vance praising India for agreeing to make some new trade deals with the United States, while also throwing some shade at China for their predatory trade practices. And so you know what? Let's zoom out for a second. Right now, countries like Vietnam, South Korea, even Japan, India are abandoning China's sinking ship and coming to the United States for protection, stability, and most importantly, economic opportunity. Meanwhile, in China, their factories are shuttering, their shipping ports are jammed with unsellable goods, their economy is pretty much in complete and total freefall. The truth is that President Trump's tariffs have done exactly what they were designed to do, and they're doing it better than anyone could have ever expected. This is strategic economic warfare, and President Trump and the United States, we are winning. China's manufacturing sector is now experiencing mass layoffs. Workers are on the brink of rioting. The Chinese currency is in complete and total freefall. Their retaliatory tariffs are absolutely backfiring. And in response, what do? Now they're begging President Trump to have a meeting. Meanwhile, United States trade revenue from these tariffs is booming. And on top of that, the Trump administration has been able to secure over $7 trillion, that's right, $1 trillion worth of American manufacturing investments, which will ultimately equate to millions of good jobs for Americans. And as if all of that wasn't enough, the US dollar has now become the currency used in nearly 50% of all global trade. That is the highest it's been in over 12 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the global markets have spoken and they're saying loud and clear, America first is the path forward. And the funniest thing about all of this is that this wasn't supposed to happen. The left-wing media said that Trump's tariffs would cause a recession. The Democrats said that Trump's tariffs would implode the economy. But here we are. Trump's economy is absolutely booming, and as of yesterday, China is now begging for a meeting. Now, folks, take a look at what President Trump himself had to say about all of this just yesterday afternoon.
Long time. We've had a very good relationship, and I think we'll make a deal with China. If we don't make a deal, we'll set it. We'll just set the number, and I think they'll want to be a part of the United States. We're doing great. This is the golden age, as Paul said. We're talking about the golden age. There will never be a time like this, in my opinion, and China wants to be a part of that too.
Do you guys notice how confident and almost indifferent President Trump seems about all of this? That is why he's winning. President Trump knows that we are the ones calling the shots and that the United States will be totally fine regardless of what China does. That's the part that they don't understand. Trump isn't desperate for a deal, China is. The leverage is entirely ours. And so by locking in these trade partnerships with India, Vietnam, and over 75 other countries, the Trump administration has not only cut China out of the picture, they've rebuilt the entire global economy in the image of America first. And so now, after months of economic chaos, China is finally realizing that the United States doesn't really need them. However, they need us. So like I said earlier, whenever this meeting between President Trump and Xi Jinping finally takes place, remember one thing. This isn't a negotiation between equals. This is a reminder of who's in charge, the United States of America. Long gone are the days where we're just going to sit idly by, letting countries like China rip off America and all of the Americans therein. Enough is enough. Those days are gone. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what the entire America First agenda is really about. Now, folks, before we wrap up with today's video, I want to say real quick that I've actually gone ahead and made a community Facebook page where I'll be posting additional news and updates as it relates to all of this. So if you guys use Facebook, check out the pinned comment down below and give that page a follow. But everyone, that is going to be a wrap for today's video, so please go down below and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. Please like the video while you're down there. As I said earlier, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton with my daily struggle here on YouTube. Thank you all very much for tuning in today, and of course, as always, stay safe.